guys. So I'm back again with another video and something that I'm really passionate about and really excited to make, and that's all about self-love. Woo!
Okay.
So self-love and self-acceptance is a huge part of life, and I feel like everyone can deal with it sometime in their life, whether it's positively or negatively. So today I'm just going to talk about self-love and just get the conversation flowing, because I think it's just good to be aware of these things, and I don't know, I think it's a good topic to talk about, and I just want to get into it and spread positivity among this subject, because I think it needs to be spread. Let's get started. So I have a lot of notes on this subject, so they're pretty in-depth. I don't know if I was really scatterbrained when I wrote this, but I hope it comes off well, so let's just get into it. So the first thing I want to talk about self-love is it kind of can mean a lot of different things based on certain situations, but generally how I see self-love is loving myself unconditionally. So no conditions, no I'll love myself if I look a certain way, I get a certain grade on a test, like none of that. It's just simply loving yourself unconditionally, how you are in this exact moment. It's also about loving every flaw of yourself and treating those flaws as a beautiful, amazing part of yourself. Every perfectly imperfect things about yourself you completely fall in love with. Accept them for what they are. Okay, so after that, next is how do you practice self-love? You may know what it is, but how do you go about it into implementing it into your life and really having it benefit you? Having positive and, self-love and falling in love with yourself, how do you do that? Well, a way to think of it is all your actions that you're doing in your day-to-day life should add to your self-love, not take away from it. So that kind of goes back to more of like accepting who you are in the moment, being very mindful, practice mindfulness, living in the moment, and being aware of certain actions that you do and make sure they're benefiting you. In other words, doing more for you because you deserve it. So personally, how I practice self-love is I love putting Post-its around my room. I mean, I only have one, but it means a lot to me. So personally, I suffer with, being really hard on my body and how I look and my appearance. So on my mirror, I have a sticky note. I'll go grab it. I have a sticky note that says, your body looks perfect and beautiful just the way it is in this exact moment. And I did not just write this down right now. This has been on my mirror. So I always keep it there. And sometimes I notice it when I'm just like looking in the mirror and like just being so ridiculously hard on myself. Like, it's insane. But this is just a friendly reminder, like, hey, you're doing the best you can in this exact moment and you're beautiful just the way you are. That's why I practice it. Another way I'm practicing self-love is just not expecting perfection in like every aspect of my life. Like, I don't have to get straight A's, or I don't have to, be perfectly popular in every situation. Like, everyone likes me, or a conversation doesn't always have to go perfect, or I don't have to be the perfect social, positive person all the time. Like, just not putting so much pressure on myself and not always having to be perfect. Period, the end. Also, another thing for me is I just find that when I act positive and see life in a more positive light, I tend to be just more positive about myself overall. So that might be the case for you too. Another way of practicing self-love is indulging in things that make you happy, and that goes along the lines of doing more for you and doing things for you. So for me, that's doing YouTube and being creative and making videos for other people to enjoy. I also love to indulge in foods. Like, I love chocolate and I love junk food, so sometimes I let myself indulge in that. So I think the number one thing that's so frustrating about self-love is it's widely talked about, everyone knows what it is, but why is it so freaking hard to practice it? Like, why is it so hard to just look at yourself in the mirror and love everything about yourself, or just think about yourself and just love yourself? Why is it so hard to fall completely and utterly in love with ourselves? Well, there's a lot of reasons why. Newsflash. But I wrote down some main things that I could think of, so this might not be the answer or the correct answer, but personally, from like personal experiences and what other people have gone through, this is what I think is the case. I think comparison is deadly. I think especially in this age with social media and with Instagram and Twitter and all those things, it's so easy to get caught up and think, wow, their life is amazing. They're always so happy. Wow, their life is so exciting. Wow, they have the perfect body. Like, it's so easy to get wrapped up in comparing yourself to others, and that's like the number one reason why you're not falling in love with yourself, is you're loving yourself conditionally and telling yourself that, oh, if I'm more like this person or more like that person, if I look like that person, act like that person, then I'll love myself. You're not loving yourself, you're trying to be someone else. Another thing, which is like something I struggle with that I mentioned earlier, is we all have this idea of perfect. To break it down, we live in a society where, of course, models are very popular. To advertise brands, to show certain things on Instagram, like, you need a model. And I think after a certain amount of time, people realize that there's a trend with the models that companies use and social media uses to advertise things. They use similar models and with similar body shape, very skinny, because that is supposed to be shown as the ideal advertisement, the ideal person to showcase beauty, like in modeling and like clothes. Like, oh, well, society and advertisements say that that's beauty, and they're all using the same type of body type and the same type of person, so that must mean that's what beauty is. No. That's just what we always think. We think, oh, society thinks that the idea of perfect through models is being very skinny, or the idea of perfect is being very outgoing. So how do we not think that we have this certain standard of perfect when it's literally all around us, especially on social media? Like, how many advertisements do you see on Instagram a day that has some kind of model that's super skinny or something? Like, it's just inevitable that we think that this idea of perfect is whatever's being branded and whatever is being shown by advertisers, because that's what we see constantly. So I think that idea of perfect gets stuck into our brain, and if we're not anything like that, then we're just not good enough. So I'm still going to reiterate this so much, because I really think it's the number one reason why people are not loving themselves, is they're lacking unconditional love. Okay, think about your favorite person in your life. A boyfriend, a girlfriend, mom, dad, brother, sister, anyone. Think about them and think how you love them so unconditionally. Like, if they came to you and said, I'm so insecure about this, I think I'm so ugly, you'd be like, what? No, you could literally gain 100 pounds, you could cut all your hair off, you could do anything to yourself, and I would still love you unconditionally. You need to do that to yourself too, no matter what you look like, no matter what mistakes you make, no matter what grade you get in class or how you act in a certain situation. You have to love yourself unconditionally. When you do these things to yourself where you only will be happy with certain things that certain goals that you need, you're never going to be happy. You're never going to be happy with yourself, because after you reach one goal, you're going to think, okay, well, now I see definition in my abs, but I mean, I could get like a six-pack. Like, I will be completely happy until I have a six-pack. Or, oh, I got a B on this test, which is what I wanted, but next time I'll get an A because I need an A in this class, which I need straight A's, and that's the only way I'll be happy with myself, because that's the only way I can possibly ever be smart. Like, loving yourself conditionally, there will never be a good outcome of that. At least from experience, I have never seen a good outcome of that. And going along with always having to be perfect, I think people always try to expect so much out of them, and so it's almost impossible to live up to this expectation that we're trying to put ourselves to, that it's so easy to get let down and be even more down on ourselves and lack even more in self-love. So what the frick do we do now? What do we do with all this information? Well, to fully practice self-love and try to implement in your life fully where it just becomes naturally, is you just have to start slow. It's not going to be overnight. It's not going to be like, oh my god, I'm waking up in the morning and I'm going to be completely in love with myself. I'm going to have no insecurities. I'm going to be freaking Buddha or some frick. I'm still learning how to love myself too. I'm only 18 years old, and I still see things about myself in the mirror. I still see things about myself socially and just how I am as a person that I always think I need to work on. But every day you want to start with something that you love about yourself. You don't have to tackle 15 different aspects of yourself or automatically try to love them. Just focus on one thing and take it day by day, because over time it'll be so worth it. Or maybe you want to say, you know, you're really down on yourself all the time, saying you're not smart enough, you're dumb, you're never going to graduate college, you're never going to get a good job because you're just not smart enough. Well, first of all, don't ever think that way because you are smart enough. Just start thinking every day, like write down on your notebook or reminders on your phone saying like you are smart or anything that resonates with you. Like don't just say you are smart because I said that, but really think of something that resonates with you. Like I know what resonates with me is you are good enough. Like I know that sounds probably cliche, but for me that means a lot to me because sometimes I just think, no, I'm not good enough in this or that or this or that. And it's just a mind spiral. But just try to like find something that when you see that statement and it's a reminder on your phone, it's a post-it note on your wall, you're writing it down in your journal every single day. It just hits a spot and hits like a nerve for you and you're just like, okay, I need to practice that. And just practice saying it. Like if you're walking to class or something, or you're walking to the grocery store, or you're out in public, just think to your head like, you are good enough, you are smart, you are beautiful. Whatever works with you and hits that nerve for you. Another thing is becoming aware of your actions. That's like the first thing you need to do because that's going to be the kickstart for everything. Because once you're aware of when you're being hateful towards yourself, it will help you be like, okay, and take a step back. That's how you learn from something. It's not your thoughts that make up who you are, it's how you react to those thoughts. So really keep that in mind. Now when I read this, I was like, shoot, I don't really know. But the more I thought about it, and I guess the more realistic answer, you almost fake it till you make it. That sounds like bad advice. Once you start telling yourself your biggest insecurities are such beautiful and unique things about yourself that make you who you are, then you'll start to believe it and see it too. And you just have to become practicing these things, and the more you implement it into your life, the more easier it will get. So I watched this YouTuber called Claire Michelle. She posted this video, and I think it was something along the lines of self-love, and she was kind of having a hard time with it, and she was being really down on herself. And I think she mentioned this moment when she was running, but I remember she said this thing, and it blew my mind. Although she was being so hateful to her body and who she is and just how she looked, her body was still working and thriving and breathing and just being alive. And that's the most amazing form of self-love. Like while you're over here beating yourself down on how you look and all your insecurities, your body's still fighting for you to be alive. It's still pumping blood, it's still breathing and just existing while you're being so hateful towards it. Like just that perspective is so amazing to think about and such a good way to really put yourself into a different perspective and be like, okay, maybe I should be nicer to this body. You know, it's breathing, it's making me do amazing things. Like, I need to be a little nicer. Along with becoming aware of it is whenever you do find yourself getting in those, I always call it mind spirals, it's the first thing that comes to my head, but whenever you get into those mind spirals where you're like, you think one thing, hate about yourself, and then you think another thing, and another thing, and then you just become like an emo night where you just hate yourself, you need to stop and think, what am I gaining from this? I hate the way I look, I hate the way I act, I'm just stupid, I'm lonely, no one likes me. What are you getting out of that? No, you want to be confident within yourself. You want to be confident by what you tell yourself, not what others have to tell you. But just think, what am I gaining from this? And you'll be like, nothing. Well, then why the frick am I doing it? I don't know, so stop doing it. Obviously, it's not that easy and all these things are really difficult, but you just have to take it day by day and I'm sure it'll become more natural for you. Also, another thing is it's okay to put yourself first. You don't always have to like be looking out for someone. Sometimes you have to be like, okay, I'm my first priority and my mental health and my well-being is first priority. And sometimes I forget about that in life, and I definitely went through a phase where I just didn't think that way and it really got the best of me. So really make sure that whenever you're doing things, make sure it's not so draining to you. Like make sure you're doing things that will benefit you too, not just other people. So now I'm going to give you some tips, and I'm excited for these because these are just positive tips you can try and hopefully they will help you. If not, try again because maybe they will help you. So the first one I wrote down is take every insecurity you have about yourself and flip it. Take every negative thought about yourself or your life in general and turn it into a positive thing. So for me, I'm really insecure maybe about probably my body. The most thing is like, I think like I don't really have curves, like I lack that figure that's very talked about like amongst our society and like popular. And a way to flip this is just to embrace what I have. Like, show what you got. Flaunt what your mama gave you. Actually, like, just really be confident in what you're given rather than being sad about what you're not given. And honestly, like, hating on your body is such a waste of time. What do you gain from being so hateful towards yourself? Be confident in what you have rather than be sad in what you don't have. And just remember that these parts of you, whether you qualify them as pretty or not, they're a part of you and make you who you are. It'd be so freaking boring if everyone in this world looked the same. It'd be so boring. Like, uniqueness and being different is so beautiful. Just like the different quirks and the cool, unique things about yourself make you so beautiful and make you who you are. So really keep that in mind. Another thing I wrote down, which may be kind of confusing and weird to say at first, but hear me out. I kind of showed it as an example first. So there's some people that hate having a big nose. Like, they're like, I hate big noses and I think it's so ugly on me. But then there's some people that are like, oh my god, I love big noses. Like, I think big noses are so pretty and I'm so jealous that you have one and I don't. And vice versa with like small noses. And it totally depends on your perspective. There are so many different perspectives of beauty and so many different possibilities. So why are you to say that certain things about yourself aren't pretty when beauty isn't one thing? Beauty is everything. Why don't look like those models? And I know it's so easy because I talked about in the beginning of the video, like, that's why it happens, is because models are told to us that that's the idea of pretty, but you can't let yourself think that way, because beauty itself, like, if you really think about it, it can kind of blow your mind. Beauty, whenever we think of beauty, we think of one certain thing. What that is to you, it might be different to everyone, but beauty is one certain thing. But beauty is not one thing. Beauty is a bunch of different things that are so different and unique, and that is what beauty is. So change your perspective on, just because you have this one insecurity does not make that thing about you ugly. That thing is beautiful about you because there's so many different perspectives on people. So going back to falling in love with yourself, this is my next tip. This fall season, you're gonna fall so hard in love with yourself. That sometimes does not make any sense, but it's fine. So in order to do this, you need to first take yourself on a date. Find something that you love to do, and the best part is you don't have to ask anyone else what they want to do or what their preference is, because you can just take yourself on the date. You want to take yourself to a place that makes you happy. But moral of the story is, take yourself on a date and get all dressed up or dressed down, whatever makes you happy. Take yourself on a date just by yourself and enjoy quality time with yourself. And not all these have to be dates, but really start to designate time to spend quality time with yourself so you can grow as an individual and be comfortable with being alone with yourself and being happy and content with that. Give it cheesy compliments to yourself. Don't you love when you're in the beginning of a relationship and you're like, so like,
Looks really cute today. Your eyes are so pretty.
just tell yourself those kind of compliments that you gave your middle school crush. So that's it. That's that. Treat yourself by showering yourself, not showering, but giving yourself gifts. So maybe you'll, buy yourself a cute new shirt that you've been wanting so bad. So you gift yourself with that. Or maybe buying a coffee because you love that PSL drink. So you buy that for yourself. Every once in a while, rewarding yourself with a gift and treating yourself. With falling in love with yourself, just let yourself blissfully and utterly fall in love in the most humbling and innocent way possible, and slowly but surely it will become easier for you guys. So that's that. I hope I made sense. I really want to make sense. We'll go back and watch this and be like. But basically the moral of this story, guys, is just to be aware of self-love. It's such a big deal, and I wish there was a class that you could take in school in general that just really told you on how to love yourself. You have to take, everyone has to take it. Wouldn't that be so nice? So it's a chill class that we just need. And I think that I've said it so many times, but everyone needs to know this, because it's something we've all gone through positively and negatively, or one or the other, and we just never talk about it. You always see things like love yourself, treat yourself, but we never go into the depths of it and get into it really. So that was kind of a really broad video and I touched on a lot of different things, but if you want me to go in depth on certain things more, I definitely can. I love this topic. I love talking about self-help and stuff. So if you want me to do a specific type of video, just comment down below and let me know. If you enjoyed this video, give this a like and subscribe if you want more content like this. Yeah, I'm really excited to make more videos for you guys, and I really hope that this video brightened up your day a little bit. And just keep a smile on your face because you're beautiful. Trust me, you're so beautiful in your own unique way, and just keep remembering that. And life is beautiful. You're beautiful. Today is beautiful, so go treat it like it. I love you guys. Bye.
I've got this feeling, I'm feeling you could be the one.